Let me ask a question here. Interaction. Why? Why did the Most High do this to our people? Why? Not you. Hey, you see me every day. Why? Why did he allow us to be enslaved? Why did he take us down? Why is it that you are a people that have no idea who you are, your purpose?
We fell from grace.
Huh?
We fell from grace.
You fell from grace. Why did we fall from grace?
Disobedience.
Huh?
Disobedience.
Disobedience. What is disobedience? Huh? What you say? Can't hear you. You got to speak up. The enemy have lots of weapons. He do, but that's, we have to get to the root. What's the root? L-A-W. Law.
We started disbelieving.
No, we always believed.
Yeah, but what about when Moses went up to Mount Sinai?
Yeah.
You know?
But we were established as a people after what happened with Moses. Those that didn't follow under Moses died.
Still fashioned an idol.
Turn away from the Most High.
Yeah. And they died. But even after that, we had a kingdom. We fell from that kingdom. The kingdom was not established coming out of Egypt. We eventually was established. You had about 40 years of peace under Solomon. So what happened? What did we fall from?
We fall from. I think we turn away from the Most High God and start worshiping false gods. But cause all the problems.
You think I want y'all to speak up louder
Yeah.
so that people can hear what you're saying. Say it again.
Yeah, we think we turn away from the Most High God and start worshiping false gods.
You turned away from the Most High God
Yeah.
and started worshiping false gods.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. So, I'll give you an example. And I'll use Manchester as an example. All right? Now, you know there's a lot of evil and crazy wickedness going on in London, right? A lot of madness, like the statues and the worships and all that. Just say, hypothetically, you all lived in London, right? And they were beaten.
Going on in Manchester as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, but I'm just giving you an example. Just say, hypothetically, Manchester is empty right now, and you all in London. They're beating you, making you build new statues, making you worship their God in London, right? But you're really not the same people. You were just born in that area. And the people of that area recognize that you're different from them. So therefore, they oppress you, take you down, make you build their buildings, and make you worship their gods. The Most High is looking from the heavens. He's totally upset with this because our prayers have went to the heavens. Then he said, you know what? I'm going to send a few brothers that were born of that chosen seed from amongst them and tell them they need to leave London because I have a place for them in Manchester. I'm just giving you a small example. Right? The person in London saying, listen, I don't want to release them because they're my best workers. You know, and I need their prayers to empower our gods. Our gods are telling us that we need their sacrifice in their prayers to keep me in power. Without them, I have no power. How can I be a king without subjects? How can I be a ruler without slaves? I'm not going to let them go. So y'all know the story. Eventually, the Most High take the empire down, and he misplaced you all in Manchester. Now you're in Manchester without any outside influence of the other nations. You don't know about the Catholic Church. You don't know about Islam. You don't know about Buddhism. You don't know about all these different forms and fashions of religion. The only thing you know is the law that the Most High gave you to live morally and civil amongst each other. You know exactly what to eat. You know exactly what to worship. You know when the holy day is, because again, there's no outside influence. Shalom. You can bring your chair. You can sit over here if you like. So, there is no outside influence here in Manchester, right? Now, through this, the Most High is looking down on the earth and see that there's only one place in the earth that's actually worshiping Him the way He intended. So therefore, He starts empowering these people in Manchester. He gives them power. Everything they hope for and pray for happens. Because why? There's no barrier between them and the Most High. There's no people bringing some other alternative doctrine to cut off the prayers of these people. So these people start prospering in power, in might, in finances. All right? Have a direct spiritual connection with the Most High. On top of that, when the other nations figured out where these people are and how powerful they've become, it's too late. Why? Because the Most High put a hedge or protection around these people, and if you try to go against them, the spirits attack you and take you down. So when they pray to their gods tell them, listen, we can't mess with them because they're under the God of all gods. Right? So, you're in this protective bubble, and the only time the nations see you is when the Most High send you out to take one of them down for the evil they're doing in the earth, or they're planning against Israel. So now the other nations are terrorized. They're terrified because when Israel is coming, they're coming with their God, and they're coming to take something down based on their disobedience in the earth. So these people are being used as the Most High's battle axe or weapons of war, like you read of in Isaiah. They're the Most High's whipping stick all over the earth for everyone that try to get out of line with the Most High. And if you other people on the outside of this Manchester area want this same grace from the Most High, you must come to these people and learn the way of their God. And if you learn their God, then blessings come on you. But you cannot follow your paganism. Right? Now, that's how it was in Israel. Now, what happens if I'm bringing it up today, you're here in Manchester alone, you're outside of all paganism, and you have the Pope looking and saying, I can't touch these people. I need them to build my kingdom. And you have these Arabs on the other side looking, I can't touch these people. I need them to build my kingdom, to give power to my God so that I can become powerful. I need them to pray to my rock. So what they'll do is, they won't come in because they can't fight you, they can't beat you. They'll wait until one of you filter on the outside of your bubble and say, listen, your God is powerful, but I need you to look at this. Just read it, you know, on your own time. So here it is. This guy done went outside his bubble, and he done got the Egyptian book of the dead, and now he done came back into the bubble. Now no one in the bubble know that this guy day and night got a candle reading the Egyptian book of the dead and looking at all these different gods. And then he's looking at his brother. What you reading, brother? Are you reading a new book? Listen, you can't get this right now because this is some knowledge that we never examine. Well, what you got there? You know the Most High say we can't deal with no other gods? Listen, brother, this is for me. His curiosity gets him to say, well, let me see. Okay, but you know if they found out about this, both of us are dead. Man, I'm your brother. I can't let nothing happen to you. I'll protect this. Let's make an oath. And he'll start reading this Egyptian book, right? And then over the other side, you got the Catholics with their idols and all that. They done creep somebody in. And eventually, it'll deteriorate the culture the Most High established. Right? Now the people have fell. They started going into the other gods because it started with these two guys. But these two guys eventually got it all the way up into the priests, to the point where you don't know where this book came from. But now the priests have it and they're using it. The same priest that used to follow the Most High. So the Most High say, you know what? You have no respect for me. I took down those people in London. I gave you everything you needed. And I even put them in your hand. If you ask. You're going to disrespect me by falling to the same people I took down for you? So, what I'll do is I'll put you under them. If you people decide that you want to put up a no God for me, I will place a no people for you. Then you'll know how I feel. So in return, the Most High took these people down. So now, all the people in London smashed Manchester, right? They killed all the people that knew about this great history of them coming to Manchester. Just an example. And then they placed the people in London over in Manchester and say that these were the original people that was here in Manchester. And in order for this to never happen again, the Gentile powers set up a religious structure in agreement with all the nations of the earth. They come together and say, listen, we can never give these people their God again. Remember what happened to us in the past? We cannot beat them. There was no weapon formed that could touch these people. We can never give them their God. Anyone that know about their God, we must kill. We have to make a crusade or some type of campaign to draw them out, to figure out who they are. Once we figure out the people who understand their past, we need to eradicate, total exterminate, kill these people. The key is to bring the nonsense and misunderstandings and the total confusion to their children. We get the children, we get the nation. So now, we'll use psychology and bring their children in and accept their children and show love to their children, but we'll teach them our doctrine. Therefore, this understanding will stay embedded within their culture. That way, these people would teach against their God themselves. And we don't, at this point, we don't have to worry about, we don't have to police these people or watch these people. They'll do it fine for us if we make them think that their God or our God is for them. So they'll pray to our God. They will empower our God. Therefore, we will stay the masters and they will continue to stay slaves. Right? That is what happened to our people. Now, it's to the point where people think that right now we're teaching high knowledge, the things we're bringing out right now in the earth. I'm only teaching what happened. It's high knowledge to us because through generation, we were told we were everything except who we are. Now, I want to focus on Benjamin real quick. Benjamin are the brothers and sisters of the West Indies, are the brothers and sisters of Jamaica. They were the Maroons in Africa. And I want to go over a few points about Benjamin, what you've been taught opposed to what's in the Bible. First off, you must put on who you are. And we're going to get into the Christ aspect of this, of understanding Christ. Because a lot of people, Benjamin, you know about being Israel, the Lion of Judah and all those things. But you don't know or you don't respect the understanding of Christ. For those that are under the Haile Selassie teaching. Alright? I have another question in here, and you can show by hands. Who smoked marijuana? Raise your hand. Come on, give it up. Come on. We have to have more hands than that. Okay, come on now. We have 1, come on. We have 2. We have 3, 4, come on. We're on the Sabbath, you can bring it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You sure we don't got 7 up in here? Well, 7, okay, 7. We have 8. Come on, we have 8. Come on, we have 8. Come on. Oh, I don't want to count you twice. You still got your hand up. Okay, you have 8. Okay, we have 8. All right. I thought we had 9. Okay, we have 8 who smoke marijuana. All right. Question. It's natural for a Rasta to smoke marijuana, right? That's just common sense. If someone's a Rasta, 9 times out of 10, they're smoking marijuana. Right? Now, I'm not here to judge anyone of their personal drug preference or whatever the case may be. All right? But I'm going to ask, why? What does marijuana do? Give it to me.
Well, when I used to smoke it.
Okay.
It sounds weird. But I remember going to Jamaica, and I was smoking. But my friend was saying to me, how come is that you're not blocking it? You're not, you know what I mean? I said, I'm just playing that, and nothing happened. But it's strange what happened nearly a year after that. It's like I find myself, broke myself, and I was on the floor. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And what I see at the time, I never like it. And then that's when I stopped. I stopped smoking and showed me what I need to know.
Okay.
So then I never smoke it again.
Okay.
That was it.
So I guess it does different things for different people, I guess. It depends on who you are, what you do. I mean, give me some more. I have some more. Who else we have here? What it do? What does marijuana do for you?
Well, for me, I started because of friends.
Okay.
Pure pressure, that's why I started. But as I got older, I've stopped now. But I used it as I got older to get me to a higher level of consciousness.
A higher level of consciousness. Okay. I understand that. And see, when going back to my Manchester analogy earlier, when we are separated from our God, we tend to try to find other ways to get to where we were before we fell. See, and we're not the only ones that recognize that, okay, we're trying to get closer to the higher spirit. They know that we would try to get closer to the higher spirit and give us substitutes. But these substitutes open up relations with gods. And I'm going to go into it in a moment. They will give you information because, like the class I had the other night, these gods or spirits are from the past, but they are not for our turn. We're opening doors. And these doors feel good. But at the end of the day, it's total destruction, total dejection, total destruction. But what else? Give me some more. Here you, back there. All right. What else? Here you go. Go ahead, sister.
When I started smoking, I think I must have been about 16, 17. It was because my friends and I were smoking. And we kind of thought I enjoyed smoking. I didn't smoke cigarettes and things like that. So because I think the people around us were taking certain other types of drugs, we kind of thought we were okay because we were only smoking because it was natural and all those kind of things. But I think we haven't been smoking so long. Sometimes I think it's almost a habit, a bad habit I have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it wasn't for me to get to a higher place. I enjoyed the relaxation,
Mhm.
certain things like that, but as you get older, I found myself fighting between whether trying to smoke or not.
Okay.
But now I think it's like a habit.
Okay. It's more so a habit by doing it so much. Yeah.
I tell myself, obviously, because I don't drink and I don't smoke cigarettes, you kind of force yourself to do that way.
Okay. Okay. Is this something I missed? Do anyone want to fill in
Is it
other
true
parts?
Is it true that the plant was found on King Solomon?
Huh?
Is it true that the plant was found on King Solomon's grave?
The plant was what?
Found on King Solomon's grave. Is it true?
It was formed on King Solomon's grave.
Found. The plant was found on King Solomon's grave because most Rastaman, like, they use herbs. They say when they smoke it, they get wise. It give them knowledge. So within the Rasta doctrine, that's what most Rasta say, and it was found on King Solomon's grave, the plant of it. So, and I guess I say it was the wisest one.
See, I would like to say that it does give you wisdom. But wisdom of what? And when you are a dejected and unlearned people, a people that have no identity, no history, no spiritual connection to the Most High, any wisdom is good wisdom. Just so you can have something different than what you're used to is good. But when you look at the whole picture, what is it doing? Now I'm going to go into it in a moment because a lot of you don't know that hallucinogens and drugs was actually aimed towards God's people. They were aimed. It was an orchestrated effort to make sure these things stay within our culture. You'll never read of these things while we were a strong people within Israel before we fell. You don't hear about none of these things. You hear about these things after we fell. A matter of fact, they were a part of our fall. It's dealing and operating with spirits. Last night we did a class on the fact that there's a God over every nation of the earth. But the Most High did not put us under any other God. So we're under the God of all gods. There's a book at Yale University in the United States that the elite have under the Skull and Bone. This book they claim is an ancient book from old time, but this particular book was given to the Skull and Bone and helped form, really is the top doctrine of the CIA. With this book, this sorcerer, this Jewish sorcerer, that's who he was. He wrote a book on plants, on all the plants and hallucinogens, how to cast spells on people and how to keep people in an altered state and control the society. So your secret society, Skull and Bones, and your Illuminati powers needed these plants to keep the people in an alternative state. Marijuana is one of these plants. The poppy seed was one of these plants. So don't think that these plants just popped up from nowhere, targeted at you, being sold to you. It was a plan. These were all plans for you brothers and sisters as an alternative to the Most High. And they can keep you controlled, keep you in an altered state, and you would never attempt to connect to your Father. Yes, it would make you wise. The serpent had knowledge that could make Adam and Eve wise in the garden. But was it good for them? Through that, they died. They had the wisdom to understand both good and evil. But the Most High said, you better not take of that fruit. In this particular book, and you can find this, you can actually look at it. There's a video you can look at called Illuminati Bloodline. And in this book, it shows all the different flowers and hallucinogens that allow people to interact with spirits. It was aimed towards you. The CIA was set up as a orchestrated, what you would call organization, aimed towards feeding this to the people and keeping the people under these hallucinating spirits. Crack, cocaine, marijuana, heroin, all these are CIA chemist concoctions. Meth, all these things was aimed towards a people. Now, of course, other people get caught in the loop, but when you do the math on a high percentage, who is these things affecting? Us. We didn't need, like I mentioned earlier, when we were Israel, we did not need these things to go on a higher plane. We were on the highest plane you can get. We were connected directly with the Most High. The Most High used to come down on the tabernacle of the priest himself. He used to send a chariot down on the tabernacle of the priest and communicate directly with our priests. We had a direct connection with the Most High. Now, we're not here to judge what you do, but we're here to give some understanding on why we do these things. We are a smart, intellectual, spiritual people without these things. So I'm not going to attribute the mind the Most High gave me to an outside substance. That'll be demeaning the brain God gave me. That would be demeaning the power the Most High gave us to think. So I'm not going to attribute my spiritual uplifting to a substance within the earth. That again is a part, or what you would say, another form of idolatry. Man, I can't do this without this plant. Man, hold up. Hold up. Before I do anything, I can't think right. Let me get this together. Okay, so what happens when you have no access to this? What happens? How do you use your brain now? Now that you're dependent on these outside substances, right? First of all due respect to the Rastas, we are not through Haile Selassie's line. The Benjamites and the Jamaicans did not come through Haile Selassie. Let's straighten that out first. Let's go to 1 Kings, the 10th chapter. Now, if you want to talk about Solomon, you must go into the what? The Bible. How many of you seen the video we did here where the Rastas, the Rastafarian doctrine in the United Kingdom? Who's seen that video? You seen it? Did you notice the madness? And I'll tell you why though. How can you be a Rasta? How can you be a Rasta and say that Haile Selassie came through Sheba and Solomon, and in the same breath tell us you cannot or you should not go into the Bible? If we don't go into the Bible, how can we prove that Haile Selassie came through Solomon and Sheba? That's the story that's written of in the Bible. Go to 1 Kings, the 10th chapter, and start at the first verse.
1 Kings, chapter 10, verse 1. And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Most High.
Concerning the what?
Concerning the name of the Most High.
So first of all, Solomon had the true name of the Most High. The name is Ahiah. That's the name. We're going to put this out over and over and over again. The Jewish people know this. They have it in their secret canons. But they hide it from the populace, afraid that the people that originally call on the name will grab the name at the very end. So they hide it, and they give you Yahweh or Jehovah purposely. They will never give you a name of power. Words have power. All right? Read.
And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Most High, she came to prove him with hard questions.
So she came to prove him. She came to deal with him and debate with him based on the content of his learning. All right? That's what she came for. Read.
Verse 2. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices, and very much gold, and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart.
So she communed with him. She sat and ate with him and told him all the things that was in her mind. Okay, it's not talking about her physical heart. She started expressing the things on her mind. Read.
Verse 3. And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king, which he told her not.
So everything she asked, anything she wanted to know, he expounded and answered all her questions. She came back totally full with wisdom based on anything she wanted to know within the earth. Any off-the-wall question, no matter what it was, Solomon was able to answer it. If it was within the earth, Solomon had wisdom on this. Now, this was before Solomon's fall. Solomon didn't fall following the God of the Hebrews. In his older age, he got with this young Egyptian woman who was dealing with the gods of the past. Those are the gods that took down Solomon. So when you go into Egyptology and all these different religions, you don't know your history. You fell falling to these particular gods. So they'll flood your neighborhood with these different books. They'll flood you with Egyptology, Islam, all these different religions, knowing that that was part of our downfall. Look at all the wisdom Solomon is bestowing on Sheba. It's not because he got Egyptology or anything else. She had to come from a far land to get this wisdom as a queen. This was before Solomon's fall. Who did Solomon know? Ahiah, the God of the Hebrews. That's who he knew. That's who he exalted. That's who gave him wisdom of this world. Read.
Verse 4. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom, and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascent by which he went up unto the house of the Most High, there was no more spirit in her. And she said to the king, It was a true report that I heard in my own land of the acts and of thy wisdom.
Go ahead.
Howbeit, I believed not but the words until I came, and my eyes had seen it. And behold, the half was not told me. Thy wisdom and prosperity exceedeth the fame which I heard.
She said, listen, what they said I didn't believe, but now that I've seen this with my own eyes, it's greater than what I believed, what they were saying. With her one-on-one interaction with Solomon. Read.
Verse 8. Happy are thy men, happy are thy servants, which stand continually before thee, and that hear thy wisdom. Blessed be the Most High Power, which delighteth in thee, to set thee on the throne of Israel, because the Most High loved Israel forever.
He loved Israel for what?
Forever.
Go ahead.
Therefore made he thee king, to do judgment and justice. And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices very great store, and precious stones. There came no more such abundance of spices as these, which the queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. And the navy also of Hiram, that brought gold from Ophir, brought in from Ophir great plenty of almond trees and precious stones. And the king made of the almond trees pillars for the house of the Most High, and for the king's houses, harps also and psalteries for singers. There came no such almond trees, no, nor were seen unto this day. And King Solomon gave unto Queen of Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked, beside that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. So she turned and went to her own country, she and her servants.
Now, within any of these verses, now this is the only account of Queen Sheba and Solomon. Within all we've read, did you read anything or see anything or hear anything about a relationship where King Solomon laid with Queen of Sheba?
No.
Not one account. So the basics or the basis of the what you would call Rastafarian doctrine have been totally destroyed. Because if they didn't lay down and have a child, who's Haile Selassie? You see how simple that is? See, and that's the reason when you go into a dialogue with Rastafarians, they tend to skate around, speak around, but not go to the scripture. They'll go straight into Revelations and saying, well, that's the king. That's the king, Haile Selassie. No. Show me where Solomon slept with Queen of Sheba. So if they did not sleep together and have a child, we could care less about what you're speaking when it comes to Haile Selassie. Now what they're trying to do, see, it's total deception. It's totally antichrist. What they're really doing is trying to say that Solomon's first son did not come through David. His first son came through Sheba. Therefore, the prophecies of the promise and the kingship goes to Haile Selassie, and we should not follow Christ. Straight antichrist doctrine. It hides itself in every doctrine in this earth. And if you notice, Muslims and Rastafarians can come together with similar doctrine. Notice this. They will both agree that Christ is not the Savior. They'll both agree. And they'll go into Africanism. They'll go into different doctrines together. But they both will deny Christ. It's like when I speak to a Rastafarian, it's funny because I started to notice after dealing with them, I dealt with them in the United States, that I had the same spirit and feeling as if I dealt with a Muslim. It's almost the same thing. It's this concentrated effort to demean Christ and get everyone out of the Bible. Why? The Bible is powerful. and its spirit that cannot be denied. If we go into the Bible, we can crush anything people are dealing with in this earth. Why? Because you can't argue with pages on a book. We can't argue the pages. Now, going back to Rastafarians, Christ is king, not Haile Selassie. Solomon never slept with Sheba. Okay? Now, some people would like to follow Solomon, but they would like to follow the Solomon who fell in his old age. Okay? He fell in his older age, dealing with strange women, bringing in strange doctrines, and started building obelisks, which is your male's genitalia. And he started erecting obelisks of ancient Egypt. He started dealing with the 5-pointed and 6-pointed star. All those things were before David. That's when Solomon went off. All right? But before that, Solomon was he was the smartest and the man of full wisdom. Higher wisdom than any man that have ever hit the planet before Christ. Let's make that clear. Before Christ, because he was nowhere near the wisdom of Christ himself. All right? Now there's another thing I wanted to show here. 2 scriptures. Let's go to Ezekiel 3. Psalms 96. Says who will stand up? Yeah. 95 and 16. Amen. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Let's deal with Benjamin real quick before I open it up for questions. Benjamin. Ready? Hold that. And let's get Genesis. Hold everything you have, right? And let's get Genesis 49. Start at the first verse, please.
Genesis chapter 49, verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons, and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
He said, gather yourselves together so that I can tell you what shall befall thee in the last days. Some of you might ask, well, how do these guys know who the children of Israel are? It's easy. We can go into the Bible and see what would befall Jacob or the children of Israel in the last days. So once we look at these prophecies and read these prophecies, if they relate to a people, these must be the people. So the question is, I need someone to show me where these prophecies of the last days relate to Jewish people. Okay? And don't come to us with no Holocaust, okay? There's no greater Holocaust that have been perpetrated on this earth than the Holocaust that they have perpetrated on us. That's the Holocaust, not what Hitler did to some Europeans. All right? That's not a Holocaust. A Holocaust is when you can actually destroy 12 separate families of Israel. That's a Holocaust. And you continue to do that. And we want to go into that. But I want to stick on Benjamin first when I'm going to go into some of the destructions or the continual Holocaust. Read.
Verse 2. Gather yourselves together, and hear ye, sons of Jacob,
Go ahead.
and hearken unto Israel your father.
Hearken unto Israel your father. Israel means to be a prince of the God or prince of the power. That means he's king. We should be princes on this earth. Read.
Verse 3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as waters, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed. Then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. Simeon and Levi are brethren.
So when you go into this, it tell you each tribe. We know that the so-called Aborigines of Australia are Reuben. Right now they're living like total nomads. Right now, they didn't excel out of all the tribes. They still walking around with no clothes on, all outside. They didn't excel out of all the 12 tribes. And it's amazing that we did this video. We put this out on YouTube about 2-3 years ago, and this lady called me from over here. I was in the United States. She said, it's amazing that you went into Reuben, because she said, I just came from Australia and I was in the backlands where they are. And they told me that they're from the tribe of Reuben, but they don't have no idea how they got there. Now, mind you, I've never been to Australia. But the Most High had her call to confirm our research. All right? But let's go to Benjamin. Let's go straight down to Benjamin.
Verse 27. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf.
No, matter of fact, let's read 9 first.
Verse 9.
No. Let's read 5.
Verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren.
Simeon and Levi are brethren. To show you that at the very end, because all of them are brothers. So what do it mean Simeon and Levi are brethren? That means they will be together in the last days. You have 2 separate families living on one island. Haiti, which is Levi, and the Dominicans, the Dominican Republic. So in the last days, we will find them inhabiting the same areas on the same island. They are brethren. Read.
Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
Instruments of cruelty is in their habitation. You have Santa Maria with the Dominicans, and you have voodoo and witchcraft with Levi. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. That means when you go amongst them, you'll see witchcraft and voodoo as if it's a normal part of culture. They'll just do it, and you'll think that it's natural. They do it. It's so relevant or prevalent within their society. Read.
Verse 6. O my soul, come not thou into their secret.
And the Most High says, don't go into their secret. Don't start going to them and ask them to do things for you. Don't go into their secrets. You're opening up Pandora's box. Now let's go down to Judah, the 5th verse. Start at the 8th verse.
Verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Now we know we're talking about Christ here. But it also represents the tribe of Judah, how all the other tribes mimic the tribe of Judah. If you don't believe me, look at the fashion, the rap, the singing, everything Judah do in America, it spreads throughout the whole world, and brothers follow Judah. No one rose up. Where's the black men that rose up all around the world? They rose up in America. That's what's giving people civil rights and some type of similitude of rights in this earth. Judah. Read.
Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies.
And it says, thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. The enemies, or the greatest empire on earth, would make sure they keep a close eye in connection to Judah. And Judah will be right there with the enemy. That's America. Read.
Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp.
Judah is a lion's whelp, which means Judah is a young cub, like a young baby, like a little young lion that haven't received its power yet. Read.
From the prey, my son, thou art gone up.
From the prey thou have gone up. Usually Judah would jump on something or destroy something. But Judah is not destroying anymore. Judah is not standing up like it used to. The whole earth is dormant because Judah is still. Read.
He stooped down. He crouched as a lion. And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
Who shall rouse him up? The Most High is rousing Judah up now. Now that Judah is waking up, it's stirring the pot. It's stirring all the other tribes. Okay. Now let's go into Benjamin, the warriors.
Verse 27.
Verse 27, read.
Benjamin shall raven as a wolf.
Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. Showing you you have to look at the attributes of a wolf. Now I know that under Haile Selassie teaching, a Rastafarian teaching, they say Judah the lion and go to Haile Selassie. Judah the lion applies to the Negroes. The wolf applies to Benjamin. Why? Benjamin rolls together. They're not separated like packs of wolves, and they destroy. They take down. They're warriors like the Maroon. The Maroons, they couldn't even let me tell you, the European powers could not control Benjamin, so they just left him on the island. A lot of them refused to work. They just left him on the island. Maroons were known for taking down ships and turning ships back to Africa. Then using ships they took to travel back and forth into the Indians. Into the Indies. They like wolves. Take down. Read.
Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey.
And when it's raven as a wolf, it also talks about the wolves howling. Like a wolf at night howls. That's Benjamin's music. Howling to the Most High. Talking about Zion, the Lion of Judah. And all the music. They're the most spiritual people with spiritual music on earth. The majority of their music, they're talking about the Most High. I know they call him Jah or Yah. They don't know his full name. But all their music is to their Father. Read the last part.
In the morning he shall devour the prey.
In the morning he shall devour the prey. It's talking about how the Jamaicans or the Africans that was taken to the West Indies would take down ships and divide the gold, the resources that were on the ship. They would split it up amongst their people. We do the research on the Maroons. Maroons. Read.
And at night he shall divide the spoil.
And they divided the spoil. They would divide the money amongst their people. Go ahead.
Verse 28. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And this is it, that their father spake unto them, and blessed them. Everyone according to his blessing he blessed them.
So he blessed each tribe with a certain attribute and blessing. Now, when I go into the churches, they don't tell me, or don't read these scriptures to me and let me know, okay, who are these 12 tribes? What they tell us in the churches. If you tell them, like, I'm from the tribe of Benjamin, what would they say? What do you think? Anyone? What would they say? Huh? Yeah. It doesn't matter. We're all God's people. It doesn't matter. Hold up. Jacob said, come, and let me show you what will befall thee in the last days. And you're going to tell me that we all know we're in the last days, but we can't talk about what will befall the children of Israel in the last days? Every church out here will explain and let you know, well, listen, we're in the last days. Well, if you know we're in the last days, you should be able to break down who these people are, because Jacob said, come to my bed so I can tell my sons what will befall you in the last days. Could the last days have something to do with these people? And if so, why aren't you telling me about these people? Everything is aimed towards the 12 tribes of Israel in this earth. All legislation. I'm going to prove that. Everything is aimed towards these people. Now, let's get Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah. And let's start at the first verse. To show you what happened to these people.
Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. The words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests that were in Ananoth, in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of the Most High came in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. It also came in the days of Jehoiakim.
Jeremiah 3 and 1. Jeremiah 3 and 1. Read it.
Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's.
If a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's. Go ahead.
Shall he return unto her again?
Shall he return unto her again? Go ahead.
Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers.
The Lord says, but our people have played the harlot with many lovers. Read.
Yet return again to me.
But yet we keep returning back to the Most High. The Most High is married to his people. He didn't put no other guide over us. He didn't put the Catholic God or the European God over us. He didn't put the Asian God over us. He didn't put the Persian God over us. He didn't put the African God over us. He separated his people for himself. We were married to him. Okay? But it's like a man with a wife, and when he come home, you understand, she's out with someone else every night. But yet, he'll receive her as if she did nothing. That's how the Most High is looking at his people. Well, yeah, you know, I like to explore all things. This is the stuff that's in our people's minds. You know, I like to just dib and dabble in a little bit of every type of level of demonology. And, you know, I just like to just step up in some demonology and, you know, and I could absorb, I could take a piece from every place. What's wrong with you? This is what the Most High is looking like. What makes you think that I'm going to keep taking you back? And I've met people like this. They've sat in class and say, yeah, I'm here to hear what you have to say, you know, because I like to take a piece. I feel there's a piece everywhere. Like, who made you the, you know, you're the authority on what's right in all philosophies within the earth. No, you are a smorgasbord of demons. You have received every demon from West Hell, but yet you're sitting back saying, well, look, let me, you know, I'm just going to examine this. This is our people. Having the Most High is not good enough for us. We always, we continually thinking that there's something better. That's how he was in Israel. That's how we are. Let me tell you, when we're teaching this truth is not about kicking knowledge and just giving you a piece so that you can go on your journey. What we're bringing is the journey. What we're saying is, forget about everything and let's go back to what we were before we fell. Anything we picked up on the way, we must release. We must let go. Because there will not be any Buddhists in the kingdom of heaven. There will not be any Catholics in the kingdom of heaven. There will not be any Muslims in the kingdom of heaven. There will not be any Rastas in the kingdom of heaven. It's not going to happen. We have to go back to what we were. And that's what we're going to read in Jeremiah. Read it.
Verse 2. Lift up thine eyes unto the high places, and see where thou hast not been lying with.
The Lord says, I need you to look at all the places, and I need you to tell me, Israel, who haven't you laid with? I parted the Red Sea for you. I destroyed the Pharaoh for you. I gave you full power. And the Lord has said, I need you to look around Israel, and you tell me, what religion haven't you exercised yourself within? I would like to line people up and just ask them, well, what is your religion? And you know, when we used to do this on the street sometime, and it used to be hilarious. Well, I'm a Baptist. Well, I'm a Methodist. I'm a Catholic. I'm a Muslim. I'm a Buddhist. I'm all things. I'm a Rasta. I'm the original man. Brother, I ain't ask you. I ask you, what was your religion? I'm black. Okay, if you are the original man, because that's a deep, that's a high claim right there, then you need to tell me, who are you? The original man. This is the madness of the children of Israel. They sound, no other people can articulate total nonsense like the children of Israel. And see, the Bible says, the Greek seeketh after wisdom, but Jacob seeketh a sign. That means the other nations, the Europeans, it have to make sense logically for them to accept it. But not with us. If you can articulate it in a way that they can actually think that you know something, that's good enough for our people. No, Europeans need facts. The Greeks seeketh after wisdom, but Jacob seeketh a sign. It's like the Most High have to send a fireball to burn down your house before you can say, well, I think I need to start thinking about the Most High. These are the signs we need. It's not good enough that the Most High sends someone before you and give you all the information you need to put it together. That's not good enough. We've always been this way. Moses came off of the mountain. I like to use this example sometimes. Moses come off the mountain, and here it is, our people giving Moses all this flack. Well, listen, I don't care about you. It seems like every time you go up there, you come back with something else, and we don't know when you're coming back. We need to speak to the Most High at this point. This is us. The Most High did a rumbling from the mountain that was so hard, the whole earth shook. And then they's like, well, Moses, listen, this is how we going to work this out. You go talk to him. This is how we work. Read.
And the ways hast thou sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness, and as thou polluted the land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness.
It says, in the ways hast thou sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness, and thou hast polluted the land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness. So they brought all these different idols and wickedness outside of Israel into Israel and started polluting God's land. That sounds familiar? It's like you home and you look and say, well, your son is reading something. Like, man, where you get that book? He said they got a picture of Dr. York, Malachi York, on some book with a bunch of symbols talking about, yeah, I'm just trying to find myself. This is what we did in the past. Read.
Verse 3. Therefore, the showers have been withholden, and there have been no latter rain.
So the Most High have stopped the blessings. Rain is what we used to pray for our crops. It was for nourishment. So because we started polluting ourselves with the other nations, the Most High stopped rain. He stopped our blessings. Read.
And thou hast a whore's forehead. Thou refusest to be ashamed.
And that means you're walking around a certain type of way, and everyone can see what you are, but you're not even ashamed that you're walking this way anymore. That's why the other nations look at Israel and be like, aren't you ashamed? But we're not ashamed. We'll gloat in our total ignorance. Well, this is me. This is how I am. Right? Read.
Verse 4. Wilt thou not from this time cry unto me?
The Lord says, will you not from this time cry unto me? Look at your condition. Y'all still haven't cried to me yet? Y'all still haven't looked for me yet? Read.
My father, thou art the guide of my youth. Will he reserve his anger forever?
What verse you at?
Verse 5.
5. Go ahead.
Will he keep it to the end? Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things, as thou couldest. The Most High also said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel have done?
Have you seen what backsliding Israel have done? The Lord is saying, can you see what my people are doing to me down there? Read.
She is gone up upon every high mountain, and under every green tree, and there have played the harlot.
Everything that looks good, our people is partaking and participating in. Read.
Verse 7. And I said after her, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me. But she returned not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it. And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away.
He did what?
I had put her away, and given her a bill of divorce.
So the Most High gave his people a bill of divorce. Look at your condition. We've been divorced. So I know a lot of you would look at the earth and say, well, listen, if God loved everybody, why does it seem like we're getting the raw end of the deal? How is it we must go to the other nations for our education? We must go to the other nations for finances. We must go to the other nations for a job. We must beg everyone else for food. What makes them better than us? And these people don't even believe the Most High. They're teaching there is no God. What makes these people better than us? Why? To whom much is given, much is required. The Most High didn't give it to them. He gave it to you. And he's not doing this to deny you. He's doing this so that you can look and say, well, what can I do to change this? Can I undo what my foreparents did? That's why he's doing this, to turn us back. But we were divorced. Read.
Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. And it came to pass, through the likeness of her whoredom, that she defiled the land, and committed adultery with stones and with stocks.
With stones and with stocks. Yeah, brother. Then our people high-minded with it too. Yeah, I just came back from Mecca. You know, I had to walk around the stone. Paid $5,000 to walk around a rock. Listen, brother, you could have gave me, listen, give me $3 or 3 pounds. I got a rock right here you can walk around. This is our people. Yeah, where you coming from? Just coming from Mecca. The Most High is looking down on our people is like, man, these people have no sense. No sense whatsoever. How can you reverence a rock or a stone? And see, a lot of you I found out that our people, we become better at false religions than the people who brought it to you are. We become the experts of false religion. Because I see our Muslims in the United States. And believe me, I've been to the Middle East. And if that's the example of Muslims, if our people seen how Muslims really act and how they really live, you would not want to be a Muslim. We try to make it look like it's this honorable religion. Let me tell you, man, once you land in the Middle East, they will scheme your socks off of you. Everyone is Muslim. And they trying to shake you like this. Grab you by your ankles and overcharge you for everything. Only thing they care about is your money. Talking about Muslims. That's our people. Read.
Verse 10. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah have not turned unto me with her whole heart.
Verse. Make sure you go back to the verse when you come back, all right? Go ahead.
Verse 10. And yet for all this, Her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but faintly, saith the Most High. And the Most High said unto me, the backsliding Israel have justified herself more treacherous than Judah. And go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, return thou backsliding Israel, saith the Most High.
Say it again.
Return thou backsliding Israel, saith the Most High.
Go ahead.
And I will not cause my anger to fall upon you.
If y'all return to me, I will not cause my anger to fall on you. That's what the Most High said. Now that's gracious. That's grace and love. He said, return to me. Then I'm not gonna. Then only if you return will I not let this fire come down on you. Read.
For I am merciful, saith the Most High.
Go ahead.
And I will not keep anger forever. Only acknowledge thine iniquity,
Just acknowledge your sin. Go ahead.
that thou hast transgressed against the Most High thy power, and have scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree. And ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Most High.
Read.
Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Most High. For I am married unto you.
For I am what?
For I am married unto you.
Read.
And I will take you one of a city, and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And it shall come to pass, when ye be multiplied and increased in the land, in those days, saith the Most High, they shall no more the ark of the covenant of the Most High. Neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done any more. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of the Most High, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of the Most High, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after their imagination of their heart. In those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers.
So the Most High says he would take one. Go to that number again, which says one of a city.
Verse 14.
Read it.
Verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Most High, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city, and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion.
So one of a city and two of a family. So this thing is going to separate families. This thing is going to separate people from their landmass. And this is what I want to go into. When the Most High says, come out of my people, it's time for us to start making our way back east. It's time for us, first of all, to put down our idolatry, put down our witchcraft, put down our practices, put down our habits, and come back to the Most High. Start praying to Him. You can pray to Him 3 times a day. People don't have to see you. You can do it amongst yourself when you get up, when the sun go down, and before you go to sleep. Pray to Ahia. I'm going to show you what's about to happen. And it's going to happen here, and it's going to happen in all the Western world countries. We have about 1 hour to do so. Right? So I'm going to take about 30 minutes to show that. Then I'm going to open it for questions. All right? Be prepared to leave where you live. Because when it comes, it's going to come without warning. So if you can prepare your mind now that this is not your rest, this is not the place the Most High started you. When the Most High sent us out, you would know that it would be a point in which we would start returning. It so happened that we're in the generation that's bringing that prophecy to pass. We have to start returning back over. We have to start doing it. All right? Go to Psalms 94 and 16. Excuse me. And get Ezekiel 34 and 31. Read it. Psalms.
Psalms chapter 94 verse 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers?
The Bible says, who will rise up with me against the evildoers? The Most High is looking for those that are willing to stand against all odds in the last days. Read.
Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
Who's going to stand up as a child of the Most High against the evils of this world? Someone must do it. And I know a lot of people are afraid. They are scared. Well, something might happen to me. Listen, it doesn't matter. Something is already happening to you. While you're doing nothing, they're vaccinating you. They're chemtrailing you. They're poisoning your foods. They're poisoning your water. You're dying a slow death. Fluoride is giving people cancer. They're killing you slowly. So they're already killing you. It's called a soft kill without a fight. We was talking about that before we came here. This biological warfare that's being waged on mankind, aimed towards us. So you don't have to fight, but you're being fought against. So you might as well stand up. First of all, you will not be able to win without the Most High. So you must put down your habits, put down those things, come back to the commandments, so that you have that spiritual security with the Father. Then you'll be ready to fight spiritually. Read Ezekiel 34 and 31.
Ezekiel chapter 34 verse 31.
Read.
And ye, my flock, the flock of my pasture are men.
Are what?
Are men.
The Most High says the flock of his pasture are men. Read.
And I am your power.
And he is our God. To show you that the men must come together to lead the charge. We must have a place in which the men can set up and become priests and teachers to teach the people in these areas so that they can congregate and be ready when it's time. Okay? You can't expect the Most High to come down the last minute and, he loved me so much that he got a personal plan for me. You're one of a billion. Okay? We must gather together, come together under the same God, and learn the same thing. We must learn what we had before we fell. Now, because the Most High divorced his people, he put in a technicality. Because under the Old Testament, there was once a year we had the Day of Atonement, where if you brought forth a lamb without blemish, then your sins will be forgiven for that year back. So that technicality allowed Israel to come back to the Father. So he said, okay, that's in the law. So if I can send my son, the original spirit, the first begotten of the Father, into the earth, and he can live a perfect life, then under my Old Testament law, I can receive my people back. They can have an atonement if I can send them a lamb without blemish. And with this, I will send a man as an example of what we are supposed to be, so that we can become what we were before we fell. That was Christ's mission, to turn us back to the Father. All right? He turned us back to the Father. His example is what we need to be in to be accepted. We tried it our way. It didn't work. We tried it our personal way. So he said, listen, so there's no excuse. I'm going to send them a living example. You follow what this man have done, and I'll accept you back, and I'll accept his blood as payment, so that now when you come back, your sins are washed away, and you are accepted again as a people. Let's prove that. Hold that and get Galatians 4 and 4. And then I'm going into what's about to happen. Read it.
Galatians chapter 4 verse 4. But when the fullness of time was come, the Most High sent forth his Son, made of a woman.
He sent forth his Son, made of a woman. Go ahead.
Made under the law.
Made under the law. Go ahead.
To redeem them that were under the law.
To do what?
To redeem them that were under the law.
So redeem is purchase. So the Most High sent forth Christ to redeem Israel, who was under the Old Testament, under the law. That was the payment. There's no redemption without bloodshed. So a perfect sacrifice had to happen to allow Israel to be accepted back to the Father. When that sacrifice happened, that began the healing of the children of Israel, and it stopped the war the Most High was waging against us. Only if we would walk in that particular path. Y'all with me? So we must accept Christ. We must accept his baptism. That's the only way into this understanding. And through the baptism, you receive the gift of the Holy Spirit that gives us understanding and give us that connection with the Most High once again. We must do it that way. There's no other way around this. Now, I know I'm sounding a little Christian, but they do have that part right. All right? You just have to throw out the paganism that they're dealing with. But that part, you must be baptized to receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. And the gift of the Holy Spirit is not speaking some gibberish no one understands. That's not the gift of the Holy Spirit. All right? That's what they would like to promote so that you can go into channeling and all types of demonic tongues. All right? There's many gifts of the Holy Spirit. Being able to understand languages, which is tongues, it's just one of many. Now, let me get that sign real quick if you don't mind. I have about 30 minutes, so I'm going to go through this because I said I would go through it. I was going to go through it on the radio show. But I couldn't because I was getting interrupted every couple of seconds. Let me stand up here. Yeah, come on here. $4:30? Okay. Okay, we have time then. Okay, good. We have time. All right. Now, so we have time. Good. All right. So I'm not going to do a rush job since we have time because I do want to open this for questions. All right. My question in interaction with you. What happened on September 11th, 2001? Huh? The Twin Towers was hit in New York City. It's September 2001, right? Right? In America. Okay. Who ran into the towers? Huh? Who? Saudi Arabia? Who in particular? Who was the guy that what's his name? Saudi Arabians did it. Huh?
Bin Laden.
Bin Laden did it. Huh? Who did it?
They did it themselves.
They did it themselves.
Yeah.
Huh? A false flag operation. Interesting. I just want to hear your ideas. Get me that in Zechariah about the towers. All right. Come on. Give me some more. What happened here? Huh? The government did it. Oh, that's a hearty claim there. That's a deep claim. Get Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter. Zephaniah 1 and 16. Bin Laden, right? Saudis? Someone said Saudis? Right?
I get it.
Okay, then, well, let me get on this side then if you did it, brother.
No, well, it's prophecy.
Huh?
It's prophecy. But
Read Zephaniah, the 1st chapter, the 16th verse. Read it.
Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 16.
Zephaniah 1 and 16 reads what?
A day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities.
A
And
day of the trumpet, to let you know when certain events happen, the Most High is actually blowing a trumpet. Something is happening that we must be aware of. Right? Read.
a day of the trumpet
A day of the trumpet, go ahead,
and alarm
and alarm
against the fenced cities.
against the fenced city, a city that's so, they pride themselves in security. That means they have straight security, very fenced walls, unpenetrable defenses, right? Read.
And against the high towers.
And against the what?
And against the high
And
towers.
against the high towers. Now, this was a trumpet. Now, if your preachers were in tune with the Most High in the Bible, they would have been able to give their congregations understanding on what's actually happening. Have any of you went to church after 911? Raise your hand. Who went to church? Who was actually a member of a church during 911? Raise your hand. Did any of y'all hear a preacher speak about this event, 911? No? Did anyone say where this fits in prophecy? All right. Because of 911, what have happened? Because of 911.
We're at a change, innit?
Huh?
We're at a change.
What's the change?
It's a new world order,
Huh?
isn't it? Global terrorism.
Oh, there you go. I got to write that down. Global terrorism. Yeah, that's interesting. Global terrorism since 911, right? Let's say CCTV, right? That became big since 911, right? Right? Global terrorism. CCTV become big because of global terrorism. 911. Right? My question, if bin Laden ran into the towers, or the Saudis ran into the towers, why do they have all the cameras in your neighborhoods? You're telling me that things have changed since 911. That this was a war on global terrorism. So the question is, why are the cameras in neighborhoods of people that have not visited the Middle East, have no connection whatsoever with the people that ran into the towers? Why is my picture being taken over 200 times a day if I go outside? Huh? Brother, you hit it right on the nose. The bottom line is, we have always been a greater threat than they are. We have always been the greater threat. Why? These people, these esoteric leaders that are over the world, know prophecy. And there's going to come a time where the God that went against his people would one day accept them again and fulfill the promises of Abraham. Their time is at an end. So they had to make a pretext to go to war so that they can name anyone a terrorist in the earth, but really concentrate on exterminating their target. Their target are the children of Israel. So it's hard for you to understand the target and the master plan of these Satanists if you don't know who you are. Where are the armies going into right now? Africa. Now they're in Brazil. Last year they went in, earlier this year they went into Jamaica, talking about a war on drugs. You notice they're going into all the areas the children of Israel was dispersed. Haiti. Now, when they go into a country due to a natural disaster, when the disaster is over, why are you still there?
And they're the ones that caused the disaster in the first place.
Through the HARP system. And see, at the very end, you feel that you have something to hang your hat on with Barack Obama. Well, we are advancing because we have a black president. But Barack Obama is a plant so that they can actually have connection or more bases within Africa where the children of Israel are. It's about mass global extermination of one people. Now these people, which are Masons or Illuminists, understood the target from the beginning. They knew the target from the beginning. But if they came out on the news and say, well, listen, we need to exterminate every Jamaican, every Haitian, every Latino, every black person in America, all the black people that were part of the diaspora that ran into Africa. If they came out and made a report of that, then it will be mass pushback on that. There's no way. Number one, all these people would say, you know what, let's get together. They're trying to kill us. Right? So they had to make it in a way in which we could accept it. So they'll make it a foreign. Listen, a foreign country, a foreign people that's not connected to you, therefore, you have no personal vested interest in them anyway. As long as it's not me, they're chasing, I don't care. This way you can comply with the laws they're passing to put their infrastructure in place to really destroy you. There's no pushback against, Arabs at all. It ain't me. But the laws are not being changed in the Middle East. If you're going to stop enemies that destroyed you and they're in the Middle East, then that's where you should be fighting them. You shouldn't put cameras every other, every other block or every other house on me. Go over there and fight the people that you claim did this, right? Now, here's the funny thing. The day that this happened, the Bin Laden's family was actually put on a plane out of America back to the Middle East. Who didn't know that?
They were the only flights that took place.
They was the only, all flights were still on 911. No planes could fly. The only planes that were in the sky had the Bin Laden's family on their way out of the U.S. Now, if I'm a suspect of a crime and you have my family in your custody, those are the first people questioned during a criminal act. Hold up, Bin Laden, we suspect Bin Laden. They said it the day it happened. Well, we think it could be Bin Laden. Well, you know what? We got Bin Laden's family. We need to ask them, do they know where this guy is? You don't put them on a plane out of the country. Then come to find out, Bin Laden was a CIA agent under the government for a long time, connected with the Bushes and all that. Since the 70s and 80s. They're friends. You don't even hear about them finding Bin Laden anymore or chasing Bin Laden anymore at all. But yet, the new terrorist now is your underwear bomber. Now the underwear bomber looks just just like me. Now that's weird too. Last Christmas, underwear bomber. The shoe bomber. Let me tell you. These, go ahead.
We have another one incident in England actually, where they had they were in the train stations, but the actual movements were actually
There were people of color. Now the Muslims have switched from Arab Muslims to black Muslims. And now they've become the underwear. Now, let me tell you. Now this guy they claim was the underwear bomber was only, he lived only about 40 miles, right over the bridge, about 40 minutes, excuse me, away from where I live in Philadelphia. Now I know, growing up in the hood and growing up in Philadelphia, growing up in the United States, that no person that I've ever ran into ever thought about strapping something in their underwear. They don't even think like this to get on a plane. Then we come to find out that this guy that claimed to be an underwear bomber, this particular guy, he didn't have to show a passport. He was let through customs because the FBI told the custom people he's fine and escorted him, just escorted him on the plane, and then grabbed him in front of the people like they was arresting him for a story. Listen, but these are serious operations because it puts a face to a crime that they're aiming towards. His father and Joe, you say, listen, I know my son, see, but this is what they do. Your school's an institution. And see, they get you locked up, get you used to the institutional life. All in the United States, they do it here too. And what they do is, if you are a criminal, the CIA, all of them work in this industrial complex and work with these jails. And they be making deals with these criminals. Like, listen, I'll let you out early. I'll give you some money. I need you to just walk on the plane for me. Put this on and walk on a plane. And then they'll just let these people go. They won't lock them up. The story goes away, but the picture is still in people's minds. Now they can use the 911 bomber, and you're not talking about Bin Laden no more. You're talking about your next door neighbor. It's not Bin Laden anymore now. Then I heard a story that there were some sisters in Washington, D.C. last year that was on some terror alert because they're looking to blow up something in Washington. Then the story went away. So now it's not about Arabs anymore. No one is trying to find Bin Laden anymore. Now there's a new campaign. The newer campaign is we have a war on terror and we have to stop people from going into Yemen. That's the new thing now. Now, a lot of you are not familiar with Yemen.
Arabian Forest.
Huh?
Arabian Forest.
Yes. Yemen is not too far from where the scriptures say we will be in when we have to flee into the wilderness. It's in the Bible. So they actually have a grid within themselves and say, listen, according to prophecy, these people are going to be here. So we have to have a global war on terrorism to stop them from getting from point A to point B, and their destination have to be the main hub of terrorism so we can stop them. Because if they get there, they're protected by their God. They know this. We have to put a global net on the earth. We have to put cameras in their neighborhoods. We have to watch them. Then we have to make a pretext to round them up, to stop them from getting free from our grip. Because once they're in the hands of the Most High, once they're protected, we can't touch them. And they're going to work against us. See, what I'm saying might sound like some far-fetched movie, something out of sci-fi, but what I'm explaining to you is what they deal with every day on a high level. The government officials and powers that are set up is not dealing with what we're dealing with. Money is not their problem. Power is their whole existence. They deal with demons and spirits, and it's about spiritual warfare. And they know that the Most High is taking down their power. Why? God's people are now rejecting their religions. They're rejecting their worships. So they're losing their power. Now, they feel that if they squeeze us, then we can start going back to their God. Now, I need you to get Jeremiah the 30th chapter. Now, I brought this picture out because George Bush began what we call the war on terror. Right? Knocked down the towers. Now, you can't get on a plane without being scanned. Now, these body scanners are not regular. It's like you're walking through a microwave. They know that these body scanners cause serious cancer. They understand that these are serious health risks in these body scanners. So now, because you have to go through these pat-downs and people grabbing you and doing things, TSA or just taking their gloves and putting it anywhere they want, now you think twice about flying. They're making it in which you don't want to fly or you don't want to get on a plane. Like, I'd rather not deal with the inconveniences. That's what they want. They want you with the fear of traveling freely. It has nothing to do with terrorism. Listen, it has nothing to do with that. The majority of things that are going on in this earth today are CIA plans. There's no one thinking about blowing up anyone. It's straight garbage. There's no Middle Easterns trying to take anyone's freedom. That's garbage. They're trying to stop the Western world from destroying them. They're over there trying to defend themselves. Afghanistan, going into Afghanistan. Why are they in Afghanistan? Huh? War on terrorism. They claim that Saddam Hussein was living in Afghanistan, right? But there's proof that bin Laden is not in Afghanistan. So why are you fighting in Afghanistan? Thank you. The poppy seeds, the drugs that the CIA set up, that was a hub of drugs and hallucinogens that was aimed towards taking down people, our people, in certain neighborhoods all over the earth. Heroin, the poppy seed. So now they're over there. They're going to control. Now it's a power grab with all these governments that was at once in league with America in the Western world. It's a power grab now. That's what's going on now. They're taking all their power. The Arabs didn't mind doing it as long as they were getting paid. They was in league with America. But now they got to pay the piper. They're going down now for what they've done against us. They have to pay the piper now. You got Afghanistan. Then, before Afghanistan, you had Iraq. Now they always had. They was in Afghanistan before they went to Iraq. So these bases surround what? Iran, which is Bible prophecy. I'm gonna go into that in one moment. But let's bring it down on a civil level now. Things that we can understand. Since 9/11 passed to the mark, they got rid of Saddam Hussein. Bin Laden is not even anything anymore. While this is happening, they're crashing the monetary system of the earth. They're destroying the spending system as we speak. So not only is they have you in fear of terrorism, also they have you feeling a certain type of way about your money drying up. Your council housing might get cut off. The benefits, or what they call privileges, might get cut off. Your finances are drying up. They're claiming that a country is broke. It's impossible for a country to be broke because a country can print their own money. That's a bold-faced lie. A country can print its own money. And as long as you have people, you have resources. So there's no such thing as a country going broke. They're squeezing you. That squeeze will lead to an electronic system. An electronic system. Now, according to prophecy in the book of Amos, 90% will be destroyed in this earth. I don't think that's a coincidence that the New World Order agenda on the Georgia Stones in Atlanta claims they need the earth to be down to 500 million, which is 10% of the earth, by a certain time. I think about 2025. They need the earth to be down 90% from what it is today. Now, that's your war on terrorism. They're claiming we're the terrorists not because of what we did. They're claiming we're the terrorists based on what we'll do if we are established in the earth again. You cannot have two empires or two powers operating in the same space. You have to have one ruler and the rest subjects. That's common sense. Like, for instance, when Christ comes into the earth, when his kingdom is established, he's not going to be sitting in diplomatic meetings with the Queen of England or Prince Charles or your counselors or Barack Obama or a sheik from over the Middle East. He's not going to sit in your UN and say, well, how can we deal with this planet? Okay? That kingdom that's coming is a one world order under the Most High, with no other kingdoms and no other nations participating in a rulership position. And they understand this. They understand that the people that will be set up will execute this judgment by the Most High to make sure the earth stays the way it needs to stay going forward. So this war on terror is really what you would call a pre-crime execution. They want to stop the children of Israel before they become the problem. Read Jeremiah 30.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 1.
Read it.
The word that came to Jeremiah from the Most High, saying, Thus speaketh the Most High God of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book.
That's the Bible.
For lo, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah.
I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah. You notice earlier I went into our fall, how the Most High divorced us. But they know according to time there would come a period in which the Most High would start taking the captivity off of us. That now, as you become more wise and connected to your Father, you would start to just wake up and ask questions. Like, well, hold up. What is this Christmas thing about again? Okay, let me do some research. Christ wasn't born on December 25th. What's this? Every person that decides not to celebrate Christmas, that God that you've been worshiping on Christmas loses power. Read.
I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah.
Israel and Judah, so these people would begin to awaken. Read.
Saith the Most High, and I will cause them to return to the land
So
that
the
I
Most
gave
High is making a cause so that we will return to the what?
to the land that I gave to their fathers.
So he's making pretext so that his people can start returning to the land which he gave us from the beginning. Like, for instance, I'm in America. That ain't where I'm from. Okay? I'm living there. But I'm there because my foreparents was brought there by force. That's a reality. So I can live with the fact of saying, well, listen, I'm living in America, but that's not my home. Okay? And I can say the same thing about Africa. Africa is not my home. We ran into Africa in 70 AD when the European Romans took us down. We ran into Africa for refuge. That's not my home. I know that for sure. So now the Most High is doing something in the earth in which is getting God's people's attention. You know why everyone is trying to come back to the Most High now? And everyone is trying to be aware and know that something is happening now? Because finally, What's happening in the earth is affecting your pockets. It's affecting you personally. It's affecting you mentally. You can't sit still without something changing now that will affect you on a daily basis. That's the cause that the Most High is using to have us come back to Him and start asking questions. So in a way, what they did with this madness is good if it caused Israel to start coming back to the Most High. Read.
And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers.
Go ahead.
And they shall possess it.
And they shall possess it. We will possess that land once again. Let me tell you something about that land. It's very rare you see a commercial telling you to come to Israel. And there's a reason for that. You don't see no advertisements, come to Israel. Why? Because you might stay. You might feel, let me tell you, that land connects to its people. That land is in mourning because her people is not in the land. Israel, God's people. Israel is where we're from, brother. Israel in the Middle East is where we're from, brother. And I can prove that. The European people in Israel today are not Jews by blood. Yeah, they're Europeans. They're converts. They're converted into Judaism. They just use images. Like this guy here to make you think that Jewish people look like this. This guy is Cesar Borgia, the second son of Alexander VI, Pope of Rome. He's a Spaniard from the 1400s. This is the picture they put up to be a white Christ. Before that, there was no such thing as a Christ looking like this. But this is what they use as a pretext so that you cannot question Europeans being in Israel right now. So there's no separation between the Vatican and the people in Israel. They're all the same. They're the Romans. They're Romans. Huh? What about the Turkish Empire?
Where that land of Israel what is now, wasn't that part of your
Well, they created Palestine out of that. Before that, in ancient times, it was called the land of Canaan. So you're talking about the lots that were divided after Israel fell. After God's people have already been taken out of the land and they were started casting lots. The Ottoman Turks is modern. We're talking ancient Israel. You with me? And the Ottoman Turks came on the scene after Islam started coming up because they was fighting over that land. Whoever ruled Israel rules the earth. That's your wars or your crusades between the Muslims and the Christians. Exactly. You rule. You notice when the Arabs had Israel, Islam started springing up and had more power, and no one could touch them. No one could touch their military. Why? Because they had the homeland. Now, what happens when our people decide they want to get connected to that same spirit? That's a problem. That's a problem. So that's the war. The war is over the land. That's the land in which the Most High set His eyes on. That's the apple of His eye. You rule Israel, you rule the world. Okay? So the Jewish people came up with a pretext. They came up with a campaign. They sacrificed some of their own people in World War II. Most of them were poor people. The rich Jewish people didn't experience no Holocaust. They were behind the whole mechanism. They needed the Holocaust for international sympathy so that they could get the land without question. Huh? Why would you send them through Uganda? I don't understand. If Germany did something to you, then you should get some land in Germany. What do two Europeans fighting each other have to do with you inhabiting Israel? That don't make any sense. The Germans did it to you. They should give you land. And I ask them this all the time. I say, well, okay. How is it that a fight between two Europeans in your people living in Israel. When you're not Israel through blood. You are Jewish. You are a convert. You converted into Judaism during the time of the Crusades. We have the records. We have the books. We can tell you exactly where they came from, what they were called before they were Jewish. And not only that, we can let you know for sure they're following the same witchcraft they did in Khazaria that they're doing now. They are the wizards and sorcerers of this earth. That's what they are. They don't follow the Bible. They follow the Kabbalah. They follow the Talmud. That's Babylonian witchcraft. Okay? Don't get me started on those characters. All right?
With the 9/11 as well, it's made up that the Jewish Bible is around certain parts of that, so apparently 3,000 Jewish people who collected in the building and things like that.
Exactly. They were behind it, and they were part of this so-called conspiracy. As a matter of fact, Israel sent some of their journalists over to document the towers being hit, and they were set up on the roof filming it before the planes came. And that's documented proof. And they scurried those guys out of America and shipped them back to Israel. This whole thing links to those powers controlling the earth aimed towards destroying us, and I'm going to show you that. They try to hide themselves so that you can't look at them as the hand behind everything that's wrong with this earth. Their hand is in everything. They created the monetary system that enslaved the people. They created the corporation so that they can hide behind logos so you don't know who's doing what to you. You understand? They financed the slave ships that came on the shores and took us different places. They were owning the docks for the receipts of purchase of slaves. Christopher Columbus, he wasn't Spanish. He was in Spain for only 5 years. He was Jewish. Napoleon Bonaparte, the one that went to knock the nose off of the Sphinx, he was Jewish. So the people that now are executing the chip, the Vera chip, these are all Jewish powers. They're behind your media. That's why you can't point to them, because they make everyone else seem as they're the enemy, and they're so innocent. I'm not touching anything. I never did anything. Blame it on white Christians. They're the ones who did this to you. No, we know what happened. When slavery was abolished, when we were free, because our people had all the trade, we were the engineers, we were the people dealing on the farm, we were the high tradesmen. We were the people that knew how to work. So in America, any jobs or any industrial jobs that would eventually come up, you would have to hire these slaves to become owners of these trades. Blacksmiths, and you name it. Owners of farms. We would have needed to do this because there was no white people with those trades. The slaves was doing those things. So what did they do? The Jewish people came over to Europe and got a bunch of Europeans together and say, listen, we need y'all to bring y'all trade over here so that we don't give the job to the slaves who were just released out of slavery. And now we're fighting against the white people that came over there and said that they're taking all the jobs when really it wasn't their fault. Who's not going to come to try to better their lives with an opportunity? So now we're looking at these white Europeans that they're the problem, when it was the Jewish people that went and got them to fight against us so we can fight against each other and not see their hand in the whole thing. This is how they operate. This is what they do.
I actually heard a radio station from white Swedish radio station in America.
Yeah.
It had a Jewish rabbi on the radio station, and the Jewish rabbi was basically saying the white supremacists, basically you're going and you're cattle, and basically we know we're doing all the things we just mentioned and discussed here. We are doing these things to you, but we're not afraid of you, we're not worried about you. We don't even want to hear what you have to say because this is what's going to be coming
Exactly.
out. And the main people, they said black people of color were called shame. I can't remember exactly what the word was. But he said those are my main concerns. I mean, keep an eye on them, but the rest of you are going. So, who's going to keep feeding you and the rest of the
The others were just used. The others were just used to keep a foot on us. And also, they diverted us from looking at them. See, but now we know better. It's like, okay, I'm not going to look at the props you put in the game. I'm going to look at the hand that's controlling the game. Trace the money. Who owned the money? Who owned the banks? Huh? Exactly. Exactly. And here it is. To show you these people worship their money. All these corporations that's going to get paid on the holidays are Jewish-powered corporations. It's this time of year that round off their fiscal year. But yet these people don't believe in Christ. But they'll promote Christmas all over the earth. To show you what it's about. These guys, I'm telling you, Christ called them out. Christ says, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, the bold-faced lie of them that say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Now, I want to get this point across real quick. I don't want to get too far off the beaten path. Finish reading what you have in Jeremiah.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 4.
Go ahead.
And these are the words that the Most High spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah.
Go ahead.
For thus saith the Most High, we have heard a voice of trembling.
We have heard a voice of trembling, read.
Of fear.
Of fear, go ahead.
And not of peace.
Go ahead.
Ask ye now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child.
Do a man travail with child? Go ahead.
Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins?
So a man cannot have a baby, but why is the Most High showing a man in the future crying so hard as if he's about to give a baby? A man is crying like a pregnant woman. What is he seeing here? Read.
As a woman in travail.
As a woman in travail, go ahead.
And all faces are turned into paleness. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble.
This is the time of Jacob's trouble. The war on terrorism, the global terrorism, it can be translated according to the Bible as Jacob's trouble. Their armies, everything they're planning is aimed towards Israelite genocide. Read.
But he shall be saved out of it.
But we shall be saved out of it. They will not destroy us all. They will not destroy us all. A lot of us will make it through this. But we must come back to the Father that put us in this condition and get our spiritual mind right. You understand? You cannot get this information or this plan from any other place but the Bible. There's no other place to get the plan of how to come out of this situation. And we're looking for men and women who can come together on a regular basis and learn this and to teach this and to be prepared to leave when it's time. All right? It's called Jacob's trouble. Read.
Verse 8. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Most High of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck.
The Most High will break the yoke from off our neck. That's our captivity. He put us in captivity, but now our captivity is coming to an end. Read.
And will burst thy bonds.
Go ahead.
And strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
And strangers shall no more serve themselves of the children of Israel. You know the strangers come in your neighborhood and get paid, build mosques, build stores, then they bring others over to do the same thing. That will end. That will end. The whole earth has gotten rich off of the fall of the children of Israel. No more will we be serving these other nations. And it's so prevalent in our communities now, we think it's normal. We think it's normal for someone that's not a part of your unit, not a part of your community, just come in and just suck you dry. You think that's normal. That's backwards. I can't see myself going to China, set me up a store in a corner of a China neighborhood and selling China all their goods. I can't even fathom that. I mean, it don't even sound right. But it happens so often amongst us, and you don't even realize you can all get together and say, listen, we don't want that store on our corner. We're not going to buy nothing from the store. We're going to come together, and we're going to take that corner, and we're going to sell on that corner, and no one else is going to come in here. You have that power. Why? Because if you don't spend in their stores, they don't have a store. So not only are you supporting your own demise by supporting them, you're taking you're taking food out of your mouth, because that corner store is your store. You should be at the store. But the Most High has to break our mentality. He has to break our mentality. This is spiritual warfare. When y'all think of war, a lot of you just think of blood in the streets and guns. Let me tell you, the art of war is when you can win a war without bloodshed. That's real war. They've been waging war on us since we came out of Israel. Psychological war, biological war. Really, physical war is the end result when the other tactics have not did what they wanted those things to do. That's where we are now, though, unfortunately. They have tried to poison us. They have tried to do all types of stuff to us, and we're still here. Children of Israel are still in the earth. So now, the only other option is for the last leg of the war. That's where we are. And I'm going to go into that. Read.
Verse 9. But they shall serve the Most High their God, and David their king.
And David their king, which is through Christ. Go ahead.
Whom I will raise up unto them.
Whom I will raise up to them. Give me Revelation 7 real quick, and I'm going to show you something. Chemtrails. That look familiar to you?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's become part. It's like chemtrails are friends to you now. You're in perfect harmony with chemtrails right now. It's just a regular thing. People spraying you relentlessly, and you have no idea who's on these planes. What are they doing? How is it affecting you? You don't even care, do you? You do? You care about it? All right. Well, we care about the Gulf Coast where it was like blood a couple of months ago. Right? Where it tell you Revelations that the water shall be like blood, Bible prophecy. Look at what they're doing to the animals. Animals dying. This is happening all over the earth where the Lord says a third of the sea shall be destroyed. Without water, there's no life. But the question remains, why are they doing these things? It's global warfare to exterminate and to totally eradicate the children of Israel. Now here's the key thing. The place where the Most High told us we need to be, eventually, they cannot destroy, because first of all, it's the mount of the Most High. Second, it's close to the places where it's probably the last resources of good water in the earth. Huh? Sinai. Huh? Wouldn't they object? Well, I'm going to get into that later. I'll talk to you one-on-one on that. They will not object. As a matter of fact, the Most High have them in position so that the Jewish people don't get it. The Jewish people have targeted that as the last place that they would conquest from the Middle East. It's already targeted. Israel, the Jewish people, they have targeted that as the last frontier. Huh? Well, they have to get through Iran first. But that leads to something else entirely different, because when they touch Iran, all hell going to break loose on earth. And when this happens, when they hit Iran and all hell break loose, then you're going to have to start thinking about alternative ways of getting over to the chosen land. There will be no people getting on planes when this whole thing jump off. They're about to stop it where planes are strictly for military action. And only certain people travel. That's where we're going. But that's a whole other story. I want to stick here for a second. Blood in the waters. Total genocide of animals. The killing of people. And you might wonder, well, what benefit do these people have in destroying the earth? Why would they do this when they have to live on this earth too? These people are spiritually psychotic. And what they did was, they took the areas of land of good water for themselves. On top of that, they have a cavern that they've been building for over 30 years with resources of food, clean water, with mountains with springs of clean water. And they have enough to where they don't have to come outside. They can stay in the caverns, in the caves, and live while everything blow over on the earth. After they exterminate the earth, then they think that they're going to come back and reclaim the earth and live for it for themselves. This is the psychotic mentality of these demons we call government. They're doing this. Okay? They are doing this in its purpose. It's no accident. Okay? This is corporate genocide against humanity. Okay? Now, of course, we know that the Bible says it would happen. The Bible says, well, listen, in Revelations, that a third of the sea shall be destroyed. That the third of the creatures in the water shall be destroyed. We just didn't know when we were reading this growing up what would be the pretext or the corporate hand in these things happening. But the prophecies are being fulfilled. Now, before all this happened, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. They will institute this chip right here. This Vera chip, which is a mark of a man. How many of you are going to get this one?